Too. Donna Hopkins Pro Football Plus out here as the Commanders complete day number 3. Got a chance to see a lot of things from the defensive side of the ball. They had 3 picks. Mikey Sanders still takes one to the house, and then Tyler Owens gets the second one, and then rookie Trey Amos the third one. So Felix, a big day for the defense. You got to like what you see in the secondary as far as the cornerback position. Mikey Sanders still, Jonathan Jones, which they'll get to hear from him shortly. Got a chance to catch up with him. And then Trey Amos. Did I miss anybody? Because, they are loaded back there. And the thing about Jonathan Jones, but before we get to him, talk about what you saw from the secondary today. 3 picks.
Yeah, the secondary, it's night and day from what we saw here a couple years ago. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. Trey Amos looks like he's been in the league about 3-4 years already. Lattimore looks great. He's slimmed down. He's being more aggressive. Mikey is just a playmaker, and we saw that first play. And then Quan Martin's playing great. And then people forgetting about Will Harris. And Will Harris is going to be in that chin roll. He's familiar with the defense from Dallas. So you see him making plays over the middle, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, there are no holes there. And it used to be when we were here, it was like, let's hope the secondary doesn't get exposed. Now you're like, the secondary is a feature of this defense. And I didn't even mention Jonathan Jones and his versatility. So I think they've remade that defensive secondary in 2 years, where those previous names aren't here anymore. And you see a building, you see a younger, faster, stronger secondary. And it starts with those new additions. But Trey Amos is probably the talk of camp. And that was kind of how we were last year with Mikey. And we saw what Mikey could be, and then we saw it on the field. We think Trey Amos is going to be right behind that.
Yeah, Trey Amos has already had a strong OTAs. Coach Quinn talked about him. The guy in the classroom, he's picking up things quick, and you can see it out on the football field as far as his play calling already. So when we look at the back end of the defense, again, we've got Mikey Sanders still that can play inside, outside. We've got Jonathan Jones that can play inside, outside. You've got Lattimore. I didn't mention him, but how could I forget his name? You got Lattimore there and Trey Amos. So when you look at the back end, the cornerback position, it's interchangeable pieces, which makes this team so much stronger on the back end, because you can basically have Mikey Sanders still outside one play and then Jonathan Jones inside, and vice versa. And then you've got that depth there. You got 4 solid cornerbacks.
Yeah, we didn't mention Noah Igmogny. He's playing great. And
I didn't mention him because I couldn't say his last name.
I know, and I probably 80% of it, but he's playing well, and he's going to be a depth piece, so he's going to be around. So now you have a Bentley of strength back there, when that used to be probably the weakest part of the defense. Now it's the strongest. And so with the exception of Lattimore, who I think is going to play exclusively on the right side now, I don't think he's going to travel, and I think that helps him. It solidifies his technique, his footwork, and he can be more aggressive on that side because he's going to be doing a lot of the similar techniques. And Amos is starting on the left, and so there's not going to be a lot of travel. And even in red zone today, we saw that Lattimore came out, Mikey was covering the one receiver, and Amos is a big body, and now he's playing off the edge. And so now there's just versatility all around, because Amos in the red zone can cover tight ends, just like Quan can cover tight ends. So now you get all of these pieces, and I forgot Will Harris, he can cover tight ends. So they saw some of the issues that the defense had in the secondary, and they went to correct those aggressively last season. And I think we'll get to see a lot of Witt's defense now, his true defense of what he wants to run now.
And Felix, we going back to Trey Amos, the thing about cornerbacks in the past, they gave receivers too much cushion. And I'm thinking like, man, they're going to go right past you. You're giving them that much cushion. Mm-hmm. The thing about Trey Amos is he is physical up there. He's playing up on the receivers, unlike, in past years where we've seen them play off so much. Are you seeing his physicality as far as up there? Because, the receiver is going to have a hard time going up against him.
Yeah, I think what I described him as, he's sticky but not handsy. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the problem with some of the previous cornerbacks we've had here, is they were handsy. They would panic and grab. And you don't see Amos grabbing. You see him on glue. He's tight to the receiver, but he's not handsy. And even when he got beat, there was a good throw from Luke McCaffrey, a tough catch. But Amos is there, and it had to be a perfect throw and a perfect catch for it to happen. So he's very physical without being handsy, and I think that's what you kind of need as a cornerback now. And coming from where he came from, Alabama, Louisiana, Ole Miss, he's seen those type of receivers in the SEC. So he's used to playing with that physicality without using the hands. So I think that's his biggest strength, is being able to be physical and tough and tight, as you said, Donna, without using his hands. And that's where the flags come from, is the hands and the grabbing. And if he can be physical like that, it's going to dictate a lot more for the defense on the front end.
Yeah, the great thing about this cornerback room is that wide receivers, when they have the 3 wide receiver sets and everything, you've got people that that can cover these guys. In the past, I think that's one of the problems for this team is coverage as far as against the pass and everything, and I think they've got that again with 4 or 5 corners that we mentioned. So this Commanders team, we focused on the defense because it was the defense's house today that they made a lot of noise.
Yeah, and they let Jaden know about it, because the first couple of days, Jaden Daniels, rightly so, was the king of the field and was putting the ball where he wanted to and made plays. The defense went right to him. And that first play, Mikey with the interception and the return, I want to say return, and then the celebration afterwards and looking at Jaden. And with Bobby Wagner's interception on 707, he looked right at Jaden. So the defense is pushing each other, but the great thing I liked about it, after when they went to the next session, Jaden went over to Mikey. They had playful banter, but then they talked about what they saw, what reads, what killed. Same thing with Bobby Wagner. So they're learning from each other. But the defense definitely set a tone. I even talked to Deron Payne about it. I was like, we all having an emphasis today. He was like, we just let them know that we're here and we're competing too. And so that's what you need to see out of camp, those two sides building each other up, so when they face other teams, they're ready for that challenge.
Hey, did you hear Deron Payne say it? They wanted the offense to know that they were here, and trust me, they were loud here today in practice because, again, it was a defensive effort, and like Felix said, I like the fact that Jaden is always learning. That's the reason why he's going to be such a great quarterback, because I know it was eating him alive with those 2 picks that he had, and like Felix said, he went over to Mikey Steele, not for Mikey to be in his face or whatever, but to learn with him and Bobby, what did I do? What did you all see? And everything. And then, Ben Sennett, I got to interview him yesterday. He had a touchdown. But more out here Sunday as it gets heated up. We're only in week number 1 with the Commanders. Donna Hopkins, Pro Football Plus. Felix Trammell with Fox Sports. Tell them how they can keep in touch with you.
Follow me on social media at bcommander2407 and my work on 1340 AM Fox Sports, Hopewell, Virginia.